Okay, so hello everyone. So this is 12A number 8. So it's one of the early problems, so which means shouldn't be too challenging. So we are told how many angles theta in between pi and like 0 and 2 pi satisfy this given equation. So when you are dealing with the logarithm, just be careful with your like parentheses because that will change your argument. So this 3 data is the argument of this sine, and then this parenthesis right here is just argument of this entire cosine for this one, and then this sum just you have another one, you add it. So the reason I'm saying sometimes you may have another parenthesis that includes everything, so that's why might be different. But in this case, we have just sum of two different logs basically. Since we know the addition, and then we have the same base, like base 10, so we can just combine those together. So as log of sine 3 theta times cosine of 2 theta. And then let's close this parenthesis. This is equal to 0. So, the base is 10, but it doesn't matter because when you convert into exponential form, so we are going to end up getting the sine 3 theta times cosine 2 theta. So when you multiply these two, we are going to get 10 to the 0th power, which is going to be just 1. So this is something. But now, like we know that like the product of two cosine and sine value is 1, but how this is possible? So let's remember our basic like values of sine and cosine. So the sine or cosine of any angles like has to be at most 1, right? So at least -1. And the same thing with the sine x. So I should have at most 1 and at least -1. So, but when you multiply these two, we are interested in positive, so which means we don't really care about the negative version either. So we can just think about 0 to 1, 0 to 1. But when you multiply the value of this, you get like 1. There's only one way that's going to happen. If this is equal to 1, this is equal to 1. Otherwise, the product should be less than 1. But since we are told that's 1, so that should be the case. So the first one, we have this sine of 3 theta is equal to 1. So like when this is gonna happen, like just imagine the sine values, like sine value will be 1 if this is like 90 degrees or some like odd multiple of 90s, right? So that should be our like the case for this equation to satisfy. So I'm gonna say 3 theta might be equal to pi over 2 because we are in radian mode plus any 2 like pi addition to this angle. So I'm going to say 2k pi. So this is something. And then we can just try plug in some values of k to get those data. But before we do that, so let's divide both sides by 3 so we can get just data alone. So data will be pi over 6 plus 2k pi over 3. So now we can just plug the numbers. So if I plug the k is 1, actually let's start with 0. If k is 0, this will be gone, so data will be just pi over 6, which is an angle that is larger than 0, which is good. And if I plug k equals 1, right, so that will be 2 pi over 3, so 4 pi over 6, that will be add up to pi, so which is going to be 5 pi over 6 for my data. So that is the next one. If I choose case 2, because I just want to get all the way to the 2 pi at most, so then that will be 2 times 2 will be 4 pi, 4 pi over 3, or 8 over 6. So that should be 9 over 6. So data will be 9 over 6 or just 3 over 2 pi. So that's still lesser than 2 pi. And if I choose the next one, k equals 4, I mean 3. So if I try the case 3, so you will get 9 Actually you can cancel 3, so that should be 2 pi plus pi over 6, which is already larger than 2 pi. So there is nothing from this. Okay, this is the sine function. So we already have 1, 2, 3 solutions. So at most we have 3 numbers should be. So it is not correct for sure. And for the second function, we have like cosine of 2 theta. This has to be 1. Again, in order for this to be 1, this like the inside angle, which is the argument is 2 theta, has to be like either 0 or like 2 pi more than that. So like if I just say this, so 0 plus 2k pi, and I can divide by 2, so the data should be equal to 0 plus k pi. Okay, so now we can plug the numbers, like since 0 is inclusive, so I can just say if k is 1, that means data, maybe I should say data 1, is gonna be just 0 plus pi, which is gonna be just pi. But I maybe should start with 0, so I just did that. So if I choose k equals 0, then this is gonna be data will be just 0. So that's maybe another solution. If I choose k equals 2, so if I choose k is 2, then that will be 2 pi plus 0, which is going to be my data is 2 pi. Okay, so we have these guys, and we want to find the solution. We have 3 solutions. We have 3 solutions for either equation, but you know, we are looking for the data that should satisfy both of them. So this is pi over 6, but there's nothing. 5 pi over 6, there is no common. 3 half pi, there is no common. So since we have no common like angle that satisfies both equation, so which means they are not gonna be equal to each other to get 1 in this case. So we have 0 solution. So this actually question reminds me one of the older problems that I kind of remember, but I don't remember the exact date, but I will find and I'll put it into description so you can take a look at that as well, because it had kind of same logic as well. So anyway, so I hope that was clear. We'll see you in the next video.